This is interesting. This is probably one of the most interesting things I've ever seen. Overwatch 2 needs to ban the word diff. If Blizzard is truly interested in getting rid of toxicity in Overwatch 2, it should consider banning the word diff in text chat. Oh boy. So, before I even read any of this, I'm going to pose the question. Are we going too far in what we consider toxic? Are we now crossing into the realm of not actually toxic, more of just like you've associated a word with a meaning, so now it is offensive when it's not really actually that offensive? We'll see. Overwatch 2 developers should consider banning the word diff, especially if they truly want to combat toxicity in the hero shooter. Overwatch has struggled with toxicity since its inception, as the game's highly competitive nature, mixed with the needs of strong teamwork to succeed, naturally leads itself to some frustration. Overwatch developers have experimented with ways to curb toxicity in-game with varying degrees of success. With Overwatch 2's early access launch, Blizzard has introduced the Defense Matrix Initiative, which is its way of defending the community from toxic players and cheaters. This includes some controversial decisions like requiring new Overwatch 2 players to register their phone numbers in order to play the game, as well as recording and transcribing game chat audio. That's only done, by the way, if you hit the report button. That's not like an all the time type of deal. It's unclear if Overwatch 2's Defense Matrix Initiative has had any impact on the game's toxicity, but anyone that plays the game regularly will be well aware that toxicity is still a major problem in the game, regardless. What does diff mean in Overwatch 2? See, here's the thing. The fact that we're explaining that to then follow up with why it needs to be banned or taken out, I think is part of the problem, because you can't just keep banning words like that, because the next one's just going to appear. It's a very different slippery slope than something else, I think. Like there's certain things that should absolutely be banned, and I think we all know what those are. But something like this, where it's like a very niche in-game meaning, there's always going to be something else that appears. One word in particular that has been weaponized by players to spread toxicity, and that's the word diff. For those unfamiliar with the term, it is basically used to criticize players' performance as a specific character or roles. Okay. For example, if Overwatch 2 players think their damage players are not pulling their weight compared to the enemy team, they might say DPS diff in the chat. Or if both teams have a Reinhardt and one is outperforming the other, they might say Reinhardt diff to point this out. Okay. Yes. With Overwatch 2's switch to a 5v5 setup, it seems the diff comes up more often to complain about healers or tank players. Oh my god! It's a silver player! Oh god! It's a silver journalist! Oh Jesus fucking Christ! No! Dude, no! It's a, oh god! Oh man, it's a, dude! Oh man, hold on. Oh god. Oh jeez. God, we're gonna, dude, you guys remember this clip? You guys remember this? Dude, I told you. I told you it was real. Oh man, okay, moving on. Diff serves no purpose in Overwatch 2 beyond trying to make other players feel bad about how they're playing, which is exactly the reason why people, okay, I'm gonna pause the alerts for a second, which is exactly the reason why people use it to begin with. This breeds toxicity. Don't disagree. It's obviously used to shit on somebody, but it's this, you're gonna have to ban every fucking word because people are just gonna constantly move to something else. Like if you remove DPS diff, like what is gonna keep them from going, wow, our DPS are getting destroyed, or wow, our DPS are much worse than yours. Wow, our DPS are getting rolled. Wow, the DPS gap. Wow, DPS crater. Wow, DPS, like, guys, like, Reinhardt Crater, Reinhardt Gap, guys, like, when does this end if you decide to do this? This breeds toxicity when it makes poorly performing players or even less interested in trying in the match. Oh my god. And I understand this. Okay, let me be clear on my stance. I don't flame players first. I've never in my whole life. I will absolutely stand up for myself or stand up for other players in my games. And I will typically try to make sure we try to win, because tilting us worse will never win. Also, small note. If you're somebody who actually believes that yelling at your teammates or saying that they're getting destroyed or whatever is going to make them play better, you're a fucking dumbass. Nobody in history has ever done that, like, ever. The only time that ever happens is in very heavy contact sports like your footballs and hockeys, and the only reason that happens is because it's a physical aggression game where you can actually physically take your problems out and you can actually physically act with it, which is a form of aggression. You can't do that in a fucking video game. You can't click on your keys even goddamn harder. That's not gonna work. Like, it's dumb as rocks. So yelling at your teammates and telling them they're dog shit and they need to play better is never gonna make them play better. You are actually part of the problem, and you're going to make it worse. Point is, though, the whole make them less interested, I guess, is technically not wrong, but that's also a shitty, like, mentality. And then there are also times when diff is thrown around in cases where the people using them are the real weak links in the match. Oh my god, this guy got flamed in a game of Overwatch and is like, no, it was actually them and they blamed it on me. Everyone's had it happen to them. Back in the day when I was leveling alt accounts, like new accounts to rank up on, I had played through like plat, diamond on tank on my main role, and I got flamed by people. And I'm like, dude, if only you knew. But like, it happens. Like, people are not smart. But like, to remove a whole word just because you got flamed in a game, bro? I don't know, man. And since they perceive someone else as the problem, necessary character switches or play adjustments aren't going to be made. This is actually an emotional article. Like, this is an emotional hit piece after they got flamed in a game of Overwatch. This is awful. Blizzard established a precedent for banning certain phrases in Overwatch 2 text chat, which is true. So it'll only make sense for Diff to make the same treatment. Oh man, I'm gonna pop off. For years, Overwatch players can type GG. For players, Overwatch players that type GG easy in chat have had their messages automatically changed to positive phrases. The same should be done with the word diff, assuming Blizzard is truly interested in rooting out Overwatch 2 toxicity. Well, I mean, Blizzard really isn't actually that interested, because you can say racist shit and homophobic shit and anti-Semitic shit and absolutely terrible things in game and get away with it. And I've literally reported people for that. I had a game where some dude was dropping fucking literally racist shit in Overwatch 1 with 4 streamers on my team, and the guy I saw him 2 weeks later. Same guy. Like, nothing ever happened to them. Nothing ever happened. So to try to like make the rallying cry behind diff when it doesn't even insta-mute or instantly block people that type like really fucked up shit is a really, 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 really weird battle hill to be dying on. Because if you actually want changes to be made to the in-game chat and the way the in-game is behaved, it shouldn't be diff. It should be the things that actually matter. Like, I'm sorry, dude. If you got your feelings hurt by someone saying diff, don't get me wrong, people have said it about me before. Like, yeah, it sucks sometimes, but it's the truth. That's different than someone saying some racist shit or some homophobic shit. Those people should be kicked the fuck out immediately. Like, absolutely just like one tap. But they can get away with it. And we're upset about the word diff. Like, if you're gonna make a rallying cry, I think we make it for the other thing. Well, not the word diff. And we're hiding behind the fact that they made it GG easy. The whole GG3EZ thing has always been a meme with players in Overwatch, because it's like, oh, they care so much about the casual player getting GG easied, but they don't care about every other player who gets some absolutely heinous shit said to them. So it's like, I don't know. That shit kind of annoys me. It's like, you're not even using your shit for a good reason, but whatever. It's likely the community will think of new ways to be toxic in their Overwatch 2 opponents and teammates, even if diff was removed from the game. Even so, getting rid of the word may provide some short-term relief for the community and lead to somewhat less toxic game chats in matches where they aren't going to be one way. Yeah, but that's stupid though. Like, okay, you want to solve this? I think I saw ML make a tweet on this, and we've talked about this before. You want to actually solve this problem? The second part, Blizzard should absolutely be on top of the fucking racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic, all the fucking dog shit that gets slipped through. And I know people can use other characters and stuff, and it's really tough to catch all the characters under the sun of, you know, like, where you can spell out really fucked up things, right? I know that that's like a tougher area. But what they should actually implement is a player side, client side way you can ban your own phrases. So if I wanted to ban the words swap and Reinhardt, anytime someone typed those words, it would be a personal filter. Other platforms and other social medias already have this. To act like it's not a thing, I'm sorry to tell you, it's a thing on almost all platforms. You can do that. I can do it in Twitch chat. You can do it on Twitter. You can do it on so many things. Now it's up to the players to do whatever they want at that point. If somebody really is really like skittish and doesn't want to be like talked about or made fun of or about for anything under the sun, which is understandable, they can put in all the words they don't want. You could put in diff, you could put in gap, you could put in crater, cataclysm, you could put whatever what you want in, and you could do it yourself, and you could have the power in your own hands to determine what you find acceptable being said to you, while also understanding that this kind of thing will never go away, not because, first off, it's a culture thing. Competitive gaming has always had an underlying tone of people getting mad at each other. It's always been a thing. That doesn't mean it's okay, and it depends on, like, obviously what's being said and whatnot. Like, there's a lot of things there. There's certain things where people believe is like healthy banter or friendly banter, but to someone else is very toxic. If you have a personal filter that you get to design, the goalposts then move because you get to move them to whatever you think is better. So some people that think friendly banter is good won't add any filters, but some people who really don't like people being toxic in their games can add a bunch of filters, and both people win. So if we want to make it, I think that's probably the best option, giving the power to the players, giving the power in your hands. But I will say though, I think if we're really going to make an outcry for this type of thing, you're going down a really slippery slope at that point, because words change constantly. Words on the internet have changed so many times that they don't even mean what they originally meant anymore. And it happens all the time. It happens all the time. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this article. I think it's a little whiny. I think it's a little bit reactive and emotional response to getting flamed in a game. Not saying that anyone deserves to be flamed in a game, but asking for changes, like legitimate fundamental changes, we shouldn't be knee-jerk emotional reaction. We should be sitting down and actually thinking about it. And I think the best way would be giving power to the players, while also Blizzard needs to step their fucking shit up, because they absolutely have let shit go for way too long. And to be honest with you, maybe it's changed with Overwatch 2. I don't really buy it yet. I haven't seen like it's changed a ton. But people still say some heinous shit, and I still see them in the games later on. So I don't know. I think there's other places that can be improved, but that's my take on it. Overwatch can definitely do better, but I don't think removing the word diff is the play. Knowing Blizzard, they'll willingly let us burn through. Wait, knowing Blizzard, they will willingly let us ban 3 words max. Yeah, but then they could put it in the shop, and then you could buy extra words. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm moving on.